Hello and welcome, my friends. I hope everybody is having a great day so far. If you are new here, welcome, and I hope you'll consider sticking around and hitting that subscribe button. And if you aren't new here and this isn't your first video and you're back watching, thank you. I greatly appreciate all of your support. Today we are doing a good old WIP Chat here, so I've got my new work in progress all set up, and this one was actually kind of fun. I decided to do something different. I have a few canvases, and of course I love them all and want to work on them all, and sometimes it's hard to decide which one to start on. So what I did is I entered them all into a random wheel spinning thing. Yeah, a random generator wheel. So you spin it after you enter all the names, and it selects whatever it lands on. So it ended up landing on black and white, which is my diamond art canvases. I've only added my diamond art canvases in there. All my non-DAC low budget ones are just kind of off on the side. I use those mostly for events that don't require licensed art and stuff like that right now. So here we are, and we're going to work on a good old WIP Chat, and that just means a work in progress if you're unfamiliar with it. So pull out your project, grab yourself a drink, sit down, relax, chat and listen along with me. I've got my usual coffee on the go here. If you want to listen to me while you're cleaning the house, whatever activity you're doing, basically. And I'm going to work a little bit on my canvas here and catch you up on the last 2 weeks. That way, you know, I kind of spread it out this time because I had other content that I wanted to get out, and sometimes finding enough to talk about in a WIP Chat that isn't kind of repeating myself is difficult, so I spread them out a little bit more, just so I feel like I've actually got things to say and kind of talk about. So let's talk about what we are working with today. I've already said that we're doing the black and white canvas. I've pulled out a different DP Gals creation tray, decided to change it up from the green. Even though the green would look great with this, I've just been using it a lot. I decided I would continue to use the Aspen Winter Randa's Crafty Corner Scented Putty in my placers because this is kind of a winter scene, so I figured that would go well with that. I'm using my two favorite pens. This one came from Amazon, and then this one came from TJ Custom Pens. I'm hoping to expand my collection of favorite pens, of course, that are a little bit thicker. That's something I'm looking at doing here once the hubby goes back to work. So I'm going to start breaking into this canvas here. This one is a round, which I haven't worked on a round in a while, so this should be nice. And it's also a smaller canvas than the last two that I've worked on. So this is, I think, dog hair. Man, the dog hair everywhere. Be nice to kind of have a little bit change in pace here. So I haven't done a WIP Chat in about 2 weeks. Not that a lot has really happened per se, but I had done my first one when we came back from holidays and kind of caught everybody up on what happened over the holidays. And then, yeah, now that we're kind of getting back into the groove of things again, now that the kiddo's back in school, we're kind of getting back to our normal schedule of things, which gives me a little bit more time to do my diamond painting and stuff like that as well, and kind of get my channel content. We had been hoping that the hubby would have gone back to work when he was scheduled to, but they gave us a call over the winter or the holiday break saying that it was looking like next month that they probably wouldn't get them until they would get them back out on the job site. So that's still what it's looking like. We haven't received a call telling us that it's going to be sooner. And of course they could always phone us at the end of the month and delay it again, which hopefully they don't, because he's ready to go back. I'm ready for him to go back. We of course still have to pay all of our bills and mortgage and put food on the table and all that good stuff too, so then he doesn't get paid vacation with his job. So we're definitely ready for him to go back. And then with the kiddo being back in school, that actually went fairly smoothly. Normally when he's off for 2 weeks, he gets you probably heard that in the door. That would be him trying to get my attention because he knows I'm in here. Hi, buddy. Go play with Dad. That would be him kind of knocking and trying to get my attention, of course. And yeah, look at me losing my track of mind. Yeah, him going back to school, it actually went fairly smoothly when he's off for like 2 weeks at a time. Sometimes they have issues with him kind of getting back into the routine of things, and because he doesn't have a wide vocabulary just yet, he's learning to use some signs more and kind of starting to use words. And he has a select few that he knows really, really well, but he still has, for his age, he still has a lot of communication that he needs to work on. And when he gets overwhelmed, overtired, if he gets frustrated because he can't express what's going on or how he's feeling, or that he doesn't want to do something because he just doesn't have the words, he will often act up with aggressive behaviors like scratching and biting and stuff like that. And so that is very common when he's been off for 2 weeks and they're trying to get him back into kind of that school routine, that a lot of that takes place where he does it with other students and other staff. He goes to a special needs program right now, which is funded, a kindergarten class that's special needs. So they're great with dealing with all of that, but we definitely get the reports on how his day's been, if, what's kind of occurred throughout his days. So we do kind of get those reports, but that actually went very smoothly transitioning back into his school week. He was so happy to see his bus. He's gone back, and you haven't had any of those kind of behaviors acting up and all of that. So that's been really good to see. We're always anxious about that when he's off for so long. So that's been really solid. Of course, I've already mentioned the hubby's home. That's who's watching the little man right now. Or trying to watch the little man. He's sometimes got a mind of his own when I'm sitting in my craft room in the office. Because he's a social little guy. And he figures everybody needs to be out there playing with him, doing things with him, or at least being in the same room as him a lot of times. And so he doesn't like if I do a little bit of a sleep in, or I'm in my office doing things sometimes. Sometimes I can get in here and it's fine. He's all about Dad, but it depends what we've been doing and what's been going on and how much he's seen one of us versus the other two. So you may hear him a couple of times come up and either knock or do his little ahs and calls and telling me he's out there and why aren't I out there sort of thing. So I apologize if you hear any of that in the background. You also may hear the dogs click-clack up to the door. They're little paws on our hardwood floors. You can sometimes hear that because they know I'm back here as well, and they love being around their humans. So other than that, we've kind of just been transitioning back into our normal schedule, which of course includes specialized services coming into the home again now that the holidays are done. So we have a whole team of people that ranges from occupational therapists to speech therapists to behavior analysts, kind of a case supervisor who oversees everybody and all of that. And so since I did a last WIP Chat, we've had both our OT come in for food play because our son, as I've mentioned, is G-tube fed, so we've been working on a lot of oral stimulation and just getting him to know that food goes in the mouth and that it's okay to swallow it, that whatever texture it has, whatever taste it has, that it's okay to be in there. And just kind of getting some of those basic feed cues, him used to that, so that he's eventually taking some of his nutrition in actual food and not his liquid diet through the G-tube. So of course that's been a super long work in progress. It's not a fast going thing by any means. So we had her come and do food play, which a lot of it is just providing some food, letting him play with it. Right now he's kind of all about bringing a toy. Right now it's his plastic dinosaurs, but they have to join him for food play, and they'll dip and eat his yogurt or whatever food we're offering at the time. They'll dip and eat it, and then we'll go, "It's Riley's turn," which is our son's name. And so then that kind of encourages him then to try it. And right now it's mostly licking, but we've seen before it was just he would only ever accept having like yogurt in his mouth, and he would not even touch or pick up or put any kind of like dissolvable puffs in his mouth or anything like that. Or he'd get so much in his mouth and he would gag, and his gag reflex has now obviously been down for a while. And he was taking spoons and progressed to licking, and then we kind of stalled at that, but licking and only yogurt, and we kind of stalled at that for the longest time. And now we're seeing him willing to lick and try a variety of foods, which for him is huge because that was very limited prior. So now he's licking and trying a variety of foods, and we're even seeing him, when it's time to put him in his chair, because he knows that's where he gets fed, coming and asking us for a snack or something to eat and snack on. And he goes to our pantry and he'll point at whatever kind of safe snacks we have for him, or he'll go to the fridge and let us know that he wants one of his safe snacks. And so he's actually been asking, which is a huge step for him. And he's even done it when we're eating our dinners. He'll come over and he'll check out what we're eating and point at it and ask if he can have some, which is huge leaps and bounds for him, even though he's still only kind of licking it, and eventually it does end up being fed to the dogs, which of course love it. It's huge progress steps for him, and it's great to see this progress. And so we, of course, update his OT, who's been working on the food play, about all of this. And even she's noticed that we've been with them now, I want to say only like 2, maybe 3 months since we've started up really heavily into this program with them. And she's even noticing leaps and bounds from what we're experiencing and saying, and so she's super excited about it. We're super excited about it. Even though for a normal kiddo it would be considered very minor, for our little guy, because it's everything he's been through and the fact that he's essentially starting this food journey very late in his life, these are huge steps for him. And with all of his sensory issues and gagging issues that we've had in the past, and just his challenges overall, it's great progress. So we've had that, and then of course we had our behavioral analyst come in, and we've been working on positive rewards for unpreferred activities, because that's where he comes out with the aggressive behavior a lot of the times. And so in the home, like you've probably seen sometimes where I've had what looks like cat scratches on my hands. No, that's from my son. Scratching and just all out full on tantrums over something as simple as getting into his chair to feed because he doesn't want to. He'd rather run around and play, or he'd rather do something else, or trying to get him to go down to bed. And no, he'd rather play, he'd rather do whatever. So it's not his preferred activity at the time, and he's upset that you're trying to get him to do it. So we've been working with our behavior analyst quite a bit on some of those transitions and giving him those positive rewards when that transition goes smoothly. So we've been working, of course, on a lot of that, and we gave some updates on that this last go around, and he's quite happy that obviously we've had success. We've seen a reduction in those tantrums and the scratching and the biting and all of that. We're having more successful transitions, which is a lot better for not only our son but ourselves. So we've been having a lot more successful transitions into his non-preferred activities. So he was quite happy to see and hear that progress. And now, of course, our new challenge is bedtime. And we're having issues both being in the room with our son a lot of the times because it's just too much, and he only wants one of us at a time in there, it seems, giving him attention or whatever. So we've been working on that. Now we're starting to get kind of some of those strategies from our behavior analyst for how to transition him into a bedtime. Right now he's receptive to reading a story. One of us going in there and going through that bedtime routine where he brushes his teeth, gets in his PJs, stuff that they have to do. But once again, because he doesn't want to do it and he's frustrated that we're making him do it, he acts out. So we're working with behavior analyst on that now. And we're trying where he goes through this bedtime routine, getting ready for bed, He's a very independent little guy, so of course we can't put his PJs on or anything like that. He has to do it, and so sometimes that makes it tough when he's trying to turn it into a game because he wants to prolong staying up. And so we've been doing that transition with a story. So then we'll let him choose a story, which right now is the same book every night. He's loving this story called Goodnight World, which is an indigenous style artwork throughout it, and it goes over all the different creatures of the land, sea, and sky, and you're basically just saying goodnight to them all. It's quite cute, and he loves it, and the pictures are very bright, vibrant. They're quite gorgeous, actually. It's probably, we got it in Jasper, Alberta, when we were on vacation there. With him in mind, of course, and he just loves this book. Like, it's it's starting to kind of fall apart a bit, but it's one of his favorites, and so that's been our nightly story. But he chooses it, and then we read it, and we tell him one story, and then he has to go down for the night. And so we've just started that, and he's very receptive to that, which is great. That's what we want. That's how we kind of get those smoother transitions happening. So that's our latest kind of thing that we're working on. And then, of course, all these strategies that we're getting, this reward system, and kind of figuring out what works or what doesn't work, and when it kind of gets stale and bored, and how to change those up. Our behavior analyst helps us with all of that, which is, oh my god, it's been amazing to have this team, really, in a lot of ways, because it's not like we're dealing with our typical kiddo here, and trying to, you know, just make it good for him, make it good for us, while still kind of teaching him what he needs to know and all of that. It's been a lifesaver in a lot of ways, and given us a lot of strategies that, you know, has kind of make a lot of that easier on all of us. So that's been great. We're, of course, doing all of that again, having that back in our home, which, yes, means we gotta make sure we're clean on the days they come in. The dogs, you know, the dogs know them, but they gotta bark when they show up and things like that. So, I mean, it's preparing yourself for all of that and being ready for all of that. And those sessions are often anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and can be very exhausting even for us. And then afterwards, he's so stimulated from all of the excitement of people coming into the home and kind of playing with him and paying attention to him and all of that, that sometimes we see some of those behaviors kind of surface a bit, and then we have to use strategies to kind of calm him back down and get him into a calm activity and kind of back to a baseline where, okay, we're at home, we're just relaxing kind of thing, we're just doing our whatever, watching our shows, hanging out, playing, and kind of transition him into those afterwards a lot of times. So we've had, of course, like I said, those happening again, and then I've been working on my event canvas for hashtag Big Butts, which is by Pencil Surprises, and Diamond Grandma's her co-host. So I've got like 3 sections left of that canvas before I finish it, and that's the only canvas I'm doing for the event, just because time and trying to film my own content, and I don't want to focus on nothing but events, but I still want to participate in them. So once I'm done that, I'll be done that event. But that wraps up at the end of the month here anyway, so that's not too bad. So far, it was an Amazon kit that I'm using for that one, and of course I'll show it as a post completion once we get there. But so she's almost done, so I figure in a week or so, hopefully you'll see that post completion video up and viewable. I also finished working on Succubus finally. I went very slowly at that one and just kind of worked on it as I felt like it and bounced between other canvases while I was working on it. But that one, hopefully, once again, in like a week or so, you'll see that post-review video and the finished panning and scanning over the, panning and scanning over kind of the whole canvas and getting a better idea of what it looks like finished. So that should be coming out right away. I filmed it, I just got to edit it up and do the thumbnail and all that and get her onto the channel. So those should be some videos up and coming that you'll see, like I said, within about the next week or two. Along with some unboxings, of course, because I'm still going through what's in my stash. Not sure what I'll do once I reach the end of my stash. I might be buying new stuff, but it probably won't be super frequent just because of obviously finances. It's my own money out of my own pocket that I'm using for a lot of these purchases. So there should be, I mean, I've got lots in my stash and I've still got some more to do. So there'll definitely be, of course, some more. I want to get more diamond painting pens. I would like to try out some other small businesses that sell diamond painting trays. So I'll hopefully have some more small shop spotlights eventually. But this is all once my husband gets back to work and we're kind of caught up on finances and bills and, you know, those kind of things. Because obviously those come first. So there'll be hopefully some of that'll get around too. And then I'm still working on getting 100 subscribers. That's my first goal that I'm looking at. I'm currently at 47 subs, so if there is somebody you know that enjoys diamond painting, please do share out the link for my channel or video and kind of send them my way. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, as that greatly helps out my channel and supports my channel right now. All the liking of the videos, all that YouTube-y kind of algorithm stuff, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, so you know when new content comes out. I do my best to do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for my videos. Okay, I'm sorry there, I was talking away and of course my video time stopped out and I didn't notice. So of course I talked a whole bunch about a bunch of things and then I realized, oh, my camera's not going. So I was talking about my videos being put out on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as that's kind of what works for me, and I feel like it gives a good amount of content. Obviously there are times that is a little bit harder to do, or I'll occasionally have another video that I'll want to push out, like a short or something that I'll push out on like a Thursday or Tuesday or Thursday, or even over the weekend sometimes. But for the most part, my main videos and all of that are Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Been watching a lot of true crime. So much so that my husband actually joked that it's all I ever watch, which in all fairness it probably does seem that way, because every time he comes into a room I have it on in the background while I'm diamond painting, or just before bed I'll be laying in bed with it. Our investigative channel, the crime investigative channel that we have on, which plays like Lieutenant Joe Kenda's take on crimes that he's witnessed when he was a detective, a homicide detective, and Evil Lives Here and American Monster and stuff like that that comes on that channel. Worst Roommate, there's a bunch of them. But in all fairness, that's usually where the first 48, which just comes on a regular channel. In all fairness, a lot of that is usually on the TV in the background when he comes to bed. And I'm laying in there just playing around on my phone, trying to wind down. So, of course, I watched a lot of that kind of stuff. Listen to true crime a lot on YouTube. I'm noticing more and more content creators now are kind of detailing true crime stories and talking about them on their channels. So that's been kind of fun. I often listen to those as well. I'll listen to a lot of other content creators' WIP Chats when I'm working on stuff, but their other kind of content, like small shops and unboxings and unbaggings and completion reviews, I kind of funnel those onto my watch later list. And so I've been trying to a couple of those have kind of piled up because I watch a ton. Like, I try to support as many as I can, so if I haven't heard of your channel or anything like that, I usually try to, or if someone does like a shout out and I don't watch their channel, I usually try to go and check out some of their videos and subscribe and support the channel. So there's a lot of new channels that I've been introduced to as well because of that. And so I've got kind of a pile up of videos to watch on my watch later list that I've been trying to get through as I can. So yeah, I've just kind of, like I said, been binge watching a bunch of stuff, all of that. Working on my whips, starting this new whip, all that good stuff. I can hear my little man out there doing his I'm not sure if you can hear that through the camera or not. He's obviously having fun doing something out there. So I've been doing quite a bit of that. Of course, trying to do my content. My weeks are usually filled doing lots of that. The other thing that's kind of been, I won't go into great details because I don't want to focus on it too much right now. But we kind of briefly, I know I briefly mentioned there was some behind the scenes stuff going on and stuff like that, so okay, anyways, sorry about that. My hubby poked his head in. Didn't realize I was filming, even though he should have. But, okay, what was I saying now? Right, so, I know I briefly mentioned that there was some behind-the-scenes family stuff going on that I didn't really want to get in details, and I'm not going to focus too much on that, but, I will. It has been taking up a little bit more time, just with my mom being busy, and so we may not have our weekly or his overnight visits periodically, depending how all of that goes. What's going on at the moment, we're taking a day at a time, obviously. But I will go into a little bit just so if I do miss a video because I don't have the community chat tab or anything because my channel's not big enough yet. I haven't completely disappeared. I'm not getting rid of the channel, nothing like that. But if I do have a little bit of a hiatus, I will try to put something on my Instagram account. So if you're not following that, please follow that. I do take pictures of the finished canvases on there. I'll take pictures of diamond painting related content and kind of lead you over to my YouTube channel. Based off if I know, like, my succubus canvas I finished, I have a finished picture on there saying that the videos will be out soon, to see that. And so I do stuff like that on my Instagram, but if I have like a little bit of a hiatus that I'm going to need to take, I will post on there because that's somewhere I can kind of keep my little community informed. But right now we have a family member who's terminally ill. They have been, they received their diagnosis a few years ago now, but they've really gone downhill rather quickly this last month or so. They're receiving some hospice care in the home right now, and they're on the actual hospice center waiting list, which hopefully they'll, well, I know that's kind of dark to say hopefully they get in there soon, because that means a space opened up, but I mean, they need the care too. So it's all weird to say, but they hopefully will not be on that list for super long and can get comfortable in a hospice center for however long it's going to be left. So the family is kind of dealing with that. My mom's being pulled away quite a bit because she's the executor, and so she's doing a lot of work helping them kind of get the paperwork and certain details like that kind of settled out, and all of that, and the plans going forward for all of that. So she's been pulled away quite frequently for those kind of things, and of course trying to spend some time with that person, even though it's difficult. Kind of seeing them the way they are right now isn't easy. You still want to spend time with them and support them, and so she's been doing a lot of that as well. So that's been kind of going on, and so we may obviously not we'll have our hands normally full, but we won't get that break at some point, I'm sure. Eventually that'll happen, which will make things a little bit more difficult, just because my husband runs a channel as well. So like today we're bouncing off, I'm making my video, and then once I'm done doing all of that, and I can kind of get it to a point where I can watch the kiddo, then he can go work on his. So we're juggling things a bit, and trying to get things done in time frames, of course, and kind of keep both our channels up to date as we like to, and with the content we like to. And so that's kind of been happening behind the scenes. I did go over and I visited that family member with my mom the one day. We had a hair appointment, and we were dropping my aunt off who lives with that person. And so I popped in and said hi and all of that. And I mean, they're in good spirits considering. And it was, even though it was hard to see them the way that they are right now, we had a nice good chat and a couple of laughs. And I mean, you try to keep things as, you don't focus on it. You keep things as normal as you can. but it's draining. It's definitely a draining thing. And I'm lucky enough that this person doesn't live with me, so I don't have to have that little bit of that caregiver role right now. But that's been happening the last little bit. That's kind of ramped up. Other than that, that's pretty much been my last 2 weeks in a nutshell. Just doing what needs to be done, chugging along, working on the channel, kind of thinking more about the channel and that 100 goal. If there's something that you've enjoyed watching, why don't you put that down in the comments below. Let me know. Maybe there's a new show I can check out or something while I diamond paint. If there's any suggestions for video content that you would like to see, definitely let me know down in the comments as well. Other than that, I think I will wrap up where we're at. I know I'm not done the section, but this is the start. Start of it anyways, and we'll get this video over onto the YouTube soon so that you can kind of listen to it maybe over the weekend while you're working on your own WIP, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.